Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this FPL video, I'm going to talk about my players that are on my watch list, players that I'm interested in bringing in over the next couple of game weeks. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, let's jump straight into it. Let's start by looking at the hottest topic in FPL at the moment. Nearly a third or over a third of FPL managers owned him. That number's going down all the time. Cancelo, no longer in the game. He's going to the Bundesliga to join Bayern Munich on loan for the rest of the season. 7.1. What do you do with him? I don't think you can start kicking yourself too much if you brought him in after the World Cup. I think it's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. 7.1 was a lot, but previously, you would have thought he was absolutely nailed. That obviously is not the case anymore, and he's just been in and out of the side. So if you kept him up until now, I don't think you need to worry about that too much anymore. You've just got to move on and look at what are the other options. And with Man City's double game week coming up, you definitely want to have a Man City player in your side. But who do you go to? If you got Haaland, De Bruyne, one of the two maybe players, possibly gone for a Mahrez, you've already got two. Yeah, I definitely want a defender in there, but which one do you go for? I think the only guarantee of someone being absolutely nailed on is Ederson. Now, if you've got Cancelo, that is going to take two transfers to get to him, so that's straight away a little bit awkward and a little off-putting. But out of the entire defence now with Laporte, Diaz back, you do wonder who's going to be in that back five, including the keeper. And who do you go for that is going to be nailed? Maybe none of them are nailed. You just can't guess Pep roulette in the game he's playing. Ake looks pretty decent at the moment, you have to say. He started something ridiculous. I think it isn't something like 13 of the last 14 games or something like that, ridiculous. So he's been really touted by Pep as being a real on form, can play that left-hand side of the defence as well as the centre-back. Pep seems to like him. Akanji, another player who has just been nailed so far, you'd have to say, since he's come. I think he's missed one game where he didn't start, and then he came on at half-time in the Premier League we're talking about. So Akanji and Ake look pretty good bet for 5 million as well. That's a really good price. Alternatively, Stones, who does have a flag on him at the moment, has been playing 90 minutes when he gets a game. I think he missed the Manchester United game, but that's the only game since World Cup he has been absent for. But he's a little bit more expensive at 5.4. I'm not entirely sure whether it's worth paying that extra 0.4 to get any more guarantees. I'm not sure there are any more guarantees that he will play. The other choice is you could go Lewis. With Cancelo out the picture now, you're not guaranteed. You'd probably say Lewis, out of all the players that we looked at here, is going to get less minutes than the rest of them. But at 3.9, I think you'd probably accept that risk. And he's a budget player, so he's one to really keep an eye on. Currently, how I'm standing is I have had Akanji since the start of the restart and since the World Cup's over. I think if you have him, such as an Ake or even a Stones, I don't think you move off him because it's a very sideways move. But I'm going to keep an eye on Lewis rather. If he does start getting more game time and he's coming into the centre of the park, he gets really involved, then I do really want to go for him at 3.9. It's just too good to ignore 3.9. Saves me 1.1 million and a little bit of flexibility to put more money elsewhere. But I think all of these look like decent options. If I was wildcarding now and I've put a wildcard together which you can catch later on in the week, I think I'll just go Ederson for the absolute guaranteed secureness that I've got a City player, because I do want him to defence, if not the best, one of the best behind Arsenal in the division. And with those fixtures coming up, there just seems to be points galore. So Man City assets, very hard. I think to put them into order, I think I'll possibly go Akanji and then Ake, but Ederson first of all. But again, take two moves to get there, a little bit more complicated for most of us to get there. The other team that I want to focus on as well, because they have a double game week this week, is Manchester United and their assets. Crystal Palace at home and Leeds at home, then follow away again to Leeds, Leicester at home, Brentford at home. They look like 5 great fixtures in 4 weeks. Obvious choice, Marcus Rashford. What form he is in, 7.2, he looks like great value. He's clearly going to be the Man United player that you want. I think if I could pick another one, Fernandes would also go in there. If it wasn't for the fact they got a double game week, I'm not so sure I'd pay the money. But on pens, they're getting far fewer than they have in previous seasons. I still think Fernandes is a good shout. 2 home games too good to miss out on. The other one I've got in my side at the moment has got Luke Shaw and Rashford. So Luke Shaw is the defensive player that I would go for, especially if he's playing now back at left back. He does offer an attacking threat. He picked up a good double-digit haul the other week when he scored. Apart from those three, I kind of feel like we're scratching around a little for other options. If you want to save money, Wan-Bissaka looks in good form and he's been popular at the moment. And the one I'm possibly going, I've got Martial at the moment. And I do have the luxury of 2 transfers and I haven't got a lot that I need to worry about. So I'm possibly just going to take a 1 week punt, take out Martial and go for Weghorst up front and then move him off to go to possibly Nketiah the week after. Crystal Palace and Leeds at home looks like a really good set of fixtures. He's playing up front. It looks nailed. Ten Hag seems to be really happy with him. He got his first goal the other day, was in the EFL Cup. But for 6 million, I think he's worth a punt. Real good differential. But yeah, Weghorst for this double game week looks like a good shout. The other thing that as well has been touted around, if you've got Rashford, do you triple captain him if you have that chip? That is very tempting. I think I'll talk about that more in my team selection. I don't know if there's going to be a better opportunity. That's what you're constantly holding on to that chip for. Or you're just constantly hoping there's something better around the corner that's going to reveal itself. Haaland with those sort of fixtures, you'd absolutely have to triple captain. But Rashford's in great form. So I'm not committed whatsoever. I'm 50-50 on it, man. If anything, I'm probably 40% committed, 60% not. But that is a choice. But Weghorst is definitely one I'm looking to bring in just for this week. His underlying figures don't look great. But you know what? I'm going to back the fixtures, back the side. Palace and Leeds at home. I don't think that looks too good to turn down. Other players that you could potentially look at then, or I'm definitely looking at on my watch list. We've looked at Estepinian as a defender. That looks like a good option. You could go Cancelo if you wanted to ignore completely that Man City defence. Estepinian, who picked up a couple of assists. He was on the watch list a couple of weeks ago. Brighton's fixtures look brilliant, don't they? Bournemouth at home, Fulham at home, West Ham at home. 3 out of the next 5. Trip to Newcastle won't be easy. And Palace, little bit of I don't know whether you call it a rivalry or grudge where they used to share their stadium. But Estepinian away at Palace will be a tasty affair. Doesn't really offer much going forward, though he did pick up 2 assists in that game against Leicester. So if you brought him in then, well done. 4.5, he looks like a good bargain option. Brighton just playing so well. He is an option. He's one on my list, but I just think I've got other things to do first before I'd move to him. But yeah, he's an option. And sticking with that Brighton side, the other player that's hot on everyone's lips at the moment is Matoma. Wow, he just looks amazing. He's been a revelation for Brighton this season, who just themselves have been playing so well. 4 goals, 3 assists. He's obviously got the winner in the FA Cup as well. SGI looks brilliant. Scored against Leicester. He just looks fantastic as well. And XGI the same as KDB. With those fixtures at what? Under half the price. He looks brilliant. He is a player I want to bring in. It's just where do I fit him into that midfield at the moment? If you had a Martinelli, I would be tempted, but not before the double game week, to move to a Matoma maybe in a couple of weeks' time, just because Martinelli's time may be impacted by Trossard. I don't know, but 5.1, he looks good. I do feel like, for me, it will be Elmron, possibly to Matoma later on, but he's on my watch list. It won't be this week, but you know what, at home to Bournemouth, I absolutely think it would be a good decision to do. If you're going to bring him in, why not this week? For me, it just doesn't suit my transfer plans. And then finally, the other one is Nketiah. Now, he is a player that I definitely want to bring in. Away at Everton, I'm a little bit sceptical. I've got a choice, really, of Weghorst or Nketiah. I just think Weghorst with 2 fixtures will outscore Nketiah with his game away at Everton. But then comes a double game with Brentford and Man City. Fixtures after that look pretty decent. His XGI is just off the scale at the moment. I can't foresee that he's going to keep that up, but he's been brilliant. 4 goals, and he just looks the part, and Arsenal just scoring so freely. So he's one definitely for game week 23, for the double game week, that I will be tempted to bring in. And then finally, one other player that's on my list, and the only problem with this guy is I just don't have the spaces up front. If we had 4 forward slots, great. Gununto, I'm sure we pronounced that wrong. He's had a great season, and 5 million, mega cheap as well. He's got the double game week, away fixtures, not expecting much away at Man U, possibly something away at Forest, difficult fixture then at home, but then Everton, Southampton after that. He's on the radar. He hasn't got a huge return, but 5 million, I'm not expecting great things from him. Playing up front, a lot of people get excited, definitely passes the eye test. He looks like a good potential as well. One to keep an eye on. If you went for him for a punt in this game week with a double game week, yeah, I don't think you could. I don't think anyone would blame you. Fixture-wise, possibly I'll look for that Everton away match before maybe bringing him in. But with Kane, Haaland, the likes of Nketiah, Wilson knocking around, it's very difficult to use that premium third spot for someone good auto, but good differential as well. That's it for this one then, guys. Let me know in the comments below, who do you think you should be bringing in for game week 22? Is there anyone on my watch list that you think that I've completely missed off, that I'm overlooking? I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. In the meantime, we'll be coming back at you. We put a wildcard video together. That'll come out tomorrow, and then team selection before the deadline. So if you're interested in those, make sure you hit that like. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, I shall speak to you soon.